guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jennifer. Don't fucking call me Jenny, I don't like that shit. Call me Jen if anything. Sorry if you see me looking this way. I have my camera plugged into my TV so I can see myself because I can't see myself in my camera. But yeah, so this is my first video on my channel. Subscribe if you want to. I think you should though. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I post stories like almost every fucking day. I'll link it below and shit, you know. Anyways, today we're gonna talk about my labor and delivery. My labor and delivery story is fucking long, so I don't know if like it's gonna be 2 videos or like a really fucking long one. We'll see how it goes, but you know, thank you for watching, and if you stick to the whole thing, you a real one. Anyways, so let's get started. So I gave birth at California Hospital in downtown LA. They have midwives there, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to do it with a midwife. So my clinic just had midwives. They also had doctors, but you know, I wanted a midwife. So I had my appointment with my midwife. It was on a Wednesday, and I remember I went in, and I really like, my biggest fucking complaint was my itch. I was so fucking itchy, like, but this didn't only happen at the end of my pregnancy, but I was also like pretty itchy like in the middle of my pregnancy, probably like my 2nd trimester. And I thought it was like PUPS, like that, I think that's what it's called, but it wasn't. And they thought it was too, but I didn't have like the things on my hands or anything, so you know, couldn't be. So I had told them, they tested me for cholestasis. They said it came back negative. This is key information that you gotta know though, okay? So fast forward, I went to my appointment and I was like, hey, yo, like, you know, midwife, what's up? Like, I'm really fucking itchy, like, I can't. Like, I was at the point where I was scratching my neck with like fucking forks. My arms, everything was so itchy. Like, I remember, you know those rocks to scrub yourself, like, instead of a loofah? I would fucking scratch myself with that. Like, I looked like a crackhead. But yeah, like it sucked. But yeah, so then I told her, like, I was just so big, like I was so uncomfortable, because I mean, I'm not anymore, but I was a very petite person, very fucking skinny, and like I'm really short. I'm 4'11". So like, yeah, you know, it was just really difficult for me to just be like so big. Like my skin was shiny and it hurt, like it stung from being that big, like that stretched out. So like, honestly, I remember this day I wanted to get induced. I wanted to ask if I could get induced. Told my midwife like, hey, I really can't stand the itch. And she goes, have they tested you for cholestasis? And I was like, yes they did, and they said it was negative. So then she was like, okay, I'll be right back. So she left. I guess she checked the results, came back, and she told me, hey, I really don't know why they didn't keep you at the hospital that day that they tested you, because you're actually borderline cholestasis, and that's why you're so itchy. If you don't know what cholestasis is, I'll read you the Google definition. It's pretty much cholestasis in pregnancy. It's like a condition for your liver when the flow of your bile isn't like normal. And that's because of the increase in hormones when you're pregnant. So yeah, bile is like a liquid that your liver, you know, it goes into your body. But yeah, anyways, yeah, so she was like, we're gonna have to send you to the hospital right away. And I was like, okay, why? She's like, you might have a baby because it might be dangerous. And I was like, oh, great. And since, you know, it's like a new program that like was going on in the hospital where like they were having water births and they were having midwives. It's like not really, haven't not heard of any other hospital. I think maybe Kaiser has midwives, but that's it. Like, you know, it's not really like a big thing like to give birth at a hospital with a midwife. So that kind of put me in a position where I was gonna have to be checked by an OBGYN. And I was just like, I'm not having that shit. Like, no, bitch. Like, out of my face. And, you know, like, no, I wasn't having it. But whatever. I went to the hospital. And they like, I think they ran some tests again, and they're like, yeah, bitch, you have cholestasis. And I was like, oh, great. So what does that mean? And they're like, you're having the baby today. And I was like, today? And they're like, well, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, but you're having this baby. And I was like, oh, baby daddy, like, hey, yo, I'm having this baby, like, you gotta come now. He was at work. So let's call him Bob, okay? We're gonna call him Bob. I don't want to say his real name because I don't know how he feels about this. So we're gonna call him Bob. So Bob was like, all right, let me go right now. But like, he was driving like the company car, so it was gonna take him a while. Like, he was gonna have to Uber to his car, and then from his car to downtown LA. Like, you know, it was gonna be a while. So I was like, okay. Sat there in the hospital. Then they told me they were gonna induce me, and this was an OBGYN. It was a lady at first that I had. So she comes in, and they told me they were gonna have to give me the balloon. So it's a Foley catheter that they do, but they inflate the catheter with the sterile saline, and it pretty much, they put it like on your cervix so that your cervix feels the pressure of the balloon coming down, like your cervix and the balloon. It's gonna think it's the baby's head. So it's pretty much a different way of tricking your body into thinking that a baby's trying to come. Like, come on, cervix, it's time to dilate. And so that's pretty much what that is. So they did the balloon. Let me fucking tell you, that shit hurt like a bitch. First of all, this is why I don't like this hospital. They have a lot of like student doctors there. Like, so it was like the guy who put it in me, that shit hurt. He did it. He was fucking up and he couldn't do it, and then the fucking dumbass bitch who ended up doing it, the OBGYN, she's a bitch. I had an incident with her at that hospital before. I don't know why she was assigned to me. Like, anyways, that's another story. That bitch put the balloon in me because he couldn't do it, and she hurt me. Like, she did not give a fuck. She was like, let me rape you real hard, and she did. Yeah, that shit hurt. Then the balloon was doing its thing. I think they gave me Pitocin too, so that was doing its thing. I was confined to a hospital bed, which was really fucking horrible. It was a really shitty thing. But the balloon, I've heard of other people having like okay experiences with it. No, not me, sweetie, not me. My contractions started as soon as they inflated the balloon. So yeah, my contractions were pretty bad at this point, but I took Lamaze and I was like, we're gonna do this drug free. I don't want no epidural. I don't want no analgesic. I don't want none of that shit. I got this. So I was, like, namaste. Like, I was doing this shit. I was doing good, controlling my breathing. Then finally the contractions, like, I got a good control of them. So I was able to just trying to relax, but I couldn't. I didn't sleep the first night. Then baby daddy showed up. Whatchamacallit. So he was there with me for a while. Then they took out the balloon, and then they checked to see if I was dilated, and I think at this point I was like 4 or 5 centimeters dilated. So then they moved me to a different room, and in there I was on the ball, like the yoga ball, and I was just moving my hips, trying to get this labor going. So this was the next day. Keep in mind, at this point I was already awake about 24 hours. This was a Thursday. It wasn't working. Nothing was helping. Thursday night, they were like, you know what? Let's break your water. Let's see how this goes. Because I think before they broke my water, I was 7 centimeters dilated. And I was like that for hours. But it's like, first of all, you have me fucking confined on this fucking bed, like with the monitor on, and like my daughter, I don't know why, like literally every time I even put my hand on my belly, she started moving. Like, she just didn't like nothing on my belly. So like the monitors were really, that was one of the worst parts, honestly. The monitor doesn't hurt, it's just there, but she was not having it. And she kept kicking it and moving it, and they kept thinking that she was in distress. But then like other doctors would come look at it and they're like, no. And then they'd sit there with me and check the monitor and check everything. And they're like, no, she's not in distress. It's just when she kicks it, she moves it. So it seems like she's in distress, but she wasn't. And then Thursday night, they decided to break my water. So they broke my water, and that's when the shit got real. That's when like I really like, that's when the contractions really like fucking came in, and like that shit really fucking hurt. And like I just wasn't having it. Like I couldn't lay down. I didn't want to lay down. I wanted to walk. I wanted to move. I was on the yoga ball, but then they kept making me get on the bed because the monitor, I was bouncing. So like the monitor was like moving, and they didn't like that. And they had told me before that I can get in the shower and put the shower head on my back to help with my contractions. And I kept asking the OBGYN, and I was like, alright bitch, what's up? When can I get in the shower and use that fucking shower head? Because these contractions are getting real. And she was like, oh, we can't because the baby seems like she's in distress. And I was like, bitch, we just confirmed she's not. But alright. My stomach is rumbling, like I'm really hungry. Anyways, so then like fast forward, the doctor ended up leaving because they do like 12-hour shifts or 24-hour shifts, I don't know. So she left at this point. So then I just had like different nurses coming in, checking up on me, and they kept raping me the whole time. Like they just kept, and I was like, bitch, read my birth plan. I don't want your fucking hands in me unless if it's fucking necessary. Really like, ugh, that was one of the other worst parts.
So just something I feel like I need to say. To me, that's what it felt like. I did not want these people touching me. I had like 20 different people jamming their fucking hands in me like every 20 minutes. It was insane. Like I felt like it was too much than like the average, And like I'm legit really scared that I won't go get a pap smear done because I'm still really traumatized by this shit. Like I told them no and they just kept going. Like I'm legit traumatized.
And I was just 7 centimeters dilated for like the longest, and they weren't having it. And the monitor kept moving, so they're like, you know what, let's do an internal monitor. And I was like, what is that? And then they showed me, and they told me I was gonna have more like, I was gonna be able to move around on the bed more. And I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. But I told you guys, my daughter, she was not having it. She did not like the internal monitor. She didn't like it. That's when she really started moving, and my contractions got even worse. But I had good control over them. But then because of the internal monitor, that's when like I kind of lost control. I lost control of my breathing. I lost control of the pain. I lost control of my body. And that's when like it just really hurt a lot. And I had been up for like 2 days already. I had no sleep. At this point, my ex-husband was already sleeping. He was tired, and like I was just mad because like I was mad because that shit hurt, So I kept waking him up and I'm like, wake the fuck up, why are you asleep, bitch, like don't you see me, like it was crazy. Like I was Satan in the hospital. And then like the nurses came in, and they're like, I was really hungry and really thirsty. They just had the IV and they kept pumping fluids in me to where like my fucking calves were so swollen. Like I didn't have stretch marks on my calves during my pregnancy. I literally only grew on my belly, but I was getting like pumped with fluids so much. My calves were so swollen.
My calves swelled up so much and so fast that when I walked out of the hospital after I had my daughter, I had stretch marks on my calves. Look at what they did to me.
And my feet were swollen from laying in that bed and getting fluids pumped in me. And I was like, why can't I like just drink water? Give me some coconut water. Let me hydrate myself. Don't hydrate my veins. Hydrate me. My mouth is dry. Like they weren't having it. They didn't let me. And like I was in labor for like almost 3 days at this point, and they really weren't letting me like drink anything, have something to eat. And like if I would have been with a midwife, like she would have let me. So I was just really swollen, a lot of pain, and I had lost control. So they were like, you've been up for a long time. I'm like, yeah, bitch, because you ain't feeding me, you ain't letting me drink nothing, and like I'm in pain. So they were like, you should just get the epidural, so you can sleep. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do this. And they're like, stop trying to be a hero. And I was like, bitch, ain't nobody trying to be a hero. I'm trying to do this on my own. Like, I am a woman. This is what I should be able to do, you know? Other bitches can do it. Why can't I do it? But, you know, keep in mind, everybody's pain level is different. Everybody is different. Some people don't want to feel anything. I wanted to feel everything. I wanted to really, truly experience and be in the moment and experience childbirth. But I didn't get to. And here's why. Because they weren't feeding me. They weren't letting me drink anything. It was literally torture. I felt like I was being tortured. Like, I was starving, I was sleep deprived, and I was in pain. So I gave in, but not for the epidural. I said, give me the shot. You know, the analgesic, on your arm. Oh my God. Let me tell you, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't get it. That shit made me crazy. Like, I was so fucking high off of that shit. Like, I was just like talking nonsense to like my ex and like telling him like, oh, I don't even know what I was telling him. And then like I'd fall asleep for like 10 seconds and I'd wake up and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, Jennifer, I don't understand. Like, you were just asking me to rub your thighs and like now you're like, what do you want? And then that's the other thing. My thighs were hurting like a lot. Like, it was a really weird pain. It was like numb but hurt. Like, if I would touch them, they were numb but they hurt. Like, I could sock myself and like it kind of felt numb, but like my bones hurt. I don't know if that makes sense. It was like my bone was hurting, but my skin didn't feel anything. But yeah, that's what, I don't know. That was like the worst feeling ever. And then I was just in and out. Like, I was like that for like a cool like 2 hours, and it was like, it honestly made everything worse. It made me more tired because I would fall asleep for like 10 seconds and then wake up every time I get a contraction because it would hurt. But it was just keeping me loopy. I don't know, it was just stupid and I fucking regret getting that shit. And then I got to the point where like I just couldn't take it anymore. I had lost control. So then this was Thursday late at night, and the anesthesiologist, the guy who does epidural, he was about to leave, or they were gonna switch, like turn, I don't know, something. So I had to like decide, why do my eyebrows look like they are so thick? They're not. The anesthesiologist was about to leave and the nurse told me, if you want to get the epidural tonight, I suggest we do it now. Like, we call him over here because he's about to leave. It's gonna take a while. Like, let's say in the next hour you decide you want it, it's gonna take a while because they're switching. And I was like, okay, fuck it, you convinced me, bitch. 5 to 10 minutes later, the anesthesiologist shows up and they kicked my ex-husband out, and they told, I had to do it on my own, and I was just like, I don't give a fuck. And he was like trying to tell me, he's like, no, you said no epidural, no. And I was like, shut your mouth, out of the room, they're trying to help me, bye, like, so he left, and like he left, and I was like, he had an epidural, but they didn't he didn't give me a button to push if I needed more. He didn't give me like a high dose. I was still able to move. You're not supposed to be able to move when you get the epidural. I was able to move. I moved around. I was able to move my legs, but I was able to sleep. Like, I didn't feel the pain. I just felt pressure when I had a contraction. And so I slept the rest of that night, and then I woke up the next day in the morning because I had this urge to push. Like, I just felt like I had to push. Like, my body was actually just doing it for me. I wasn't pushing, my body was. Like, it was just doing it. And I was like, when are these bitches gonna come and check on me? Because I really need to, like, I either need to take a shit or I need to, like, push out a baby. So then I like called the nurse over, they checked me, and they're like, do you feel like pushing? And I was like, I've been pushing for hours already. Like, my body's just doing it. I'm not doing it, my body's doing it. So can I push now? And they're like, oh, let me call the doctor over, this and that, don't push it. And I was like, am I fully dilated? And they're like, yeah. Fuck you, bitch. I'ma push when I feel like pushing. So that's when I started pushing. And then another nurse came in who like totally agreed with me, and she was like, kind of helping me push, because you know, you don't know how to push, you know, they tell you to breathe a certain way and like push when you have a contraction, but like, you know, listen to your body. So I was listening to my body and I was pushing when my body was trying to push on its own, but I wasn't pushing hard. I wasn't like fully pushing. Then a doctor came in. It wasn't the same bitch, it was a guy. It was a guy bitch. So this bitch tells me like, oh, you've been in labor for too long. This baby needs to come out. You have 1 hour. I'm gonna go do a C-section right now, and if you don't have this baby in 1 hour, I'm giving you a C-section. And I was like, my birth pack says no C-section, so suck my ass, first of all. Second, no, fuck you. I will walk up out of here and I will leave and I will go have this baby in the street. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, not literally in the street, but I'll go somewhere else. I'll figure it out. Like, no. And then like, I was just telling him no. What's his face? Bob was like really, really mad too. Like, what? Like, no. Like, how are you gonna tell me 1 hour? So that's what I forgot to mention. Before the doctor came in, the nurse was helping me push. She just wanted me to get close to having the, like, just to where the doctor had to come in real quick, pull it out, and then yeah, bye. That sounds wrong, but you know. So I had been pushing for 6 hours at this point, okay? 6 fucking hours. And I'm not exaggerating. I was full on pushing for 6 hours. And I wasn't pushing on my back. I wanted to push in many directions, but they were telling me not to move because of the epidural. Like, I couldn't move. And I was like, what you mean I can't move? And I was like moving. I pushed on all fours. I pushed on my knees. I squatted. I pushed in many fucking ways. And I was tired because they didn't feed me. They didn't even let me drink water. And like, I was crying like after the doctor left because of what he said. Like, he really pissed me off, and I was thirsty. And then a midwife was there, like on the outside of my room. There was like 2 computers where like doctors and midwives would sit, you know, type their shit away and then walk out and go somewhere else. Okay, there was a midwife there. And this midwife right here, she's like she's Jesus, okay? She helped me. Like, she came in and she's like, what's the problem here? And she tells the doctor, the bitch doctor, she tells him that. And he's like, oh, she has 1 hour to have the baby. She's been pushing for 6 hours, been in labor for 3 days. And she was like, that's normal. Like, okay, why is the baby in danger? And he's like, no. And it's just like, so then why? She's like, no. And they started arguing. They literally started arguing right there in front of me and in front of Bob. And he was like, they're fucking fighting. And I'm like, I know. Like, okay, you know, whatever. So then the guy leaves, the doctor, to go do his fucking C-section. And then the midwife was like, okay. She puts on gloves and she's like, we're going to help you here. We're going to help you have this baby because you can do it. Fuck what he said. You can do it. I know you can do it. We're going to do it. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the baby. I don't know why he's saying you need a C-section. You don't need one. By the way, this is why I wanted a midwife, because doctors jump to C-section. Doctors are trained for complicated pregnancy. They're not trained for a normal fucking pregnancy, normal birth and delivery. They're trained to do all these fucking medical interventions, and like, midwives aren't. And don't fucking argue with me about that shit, alright? If you really don't believe me or you just have questions, watch The Business of Being Born. The Business of Being Born, okay? Watch it. And so she comes and she checks me, and like she's like, she told me to push while she was checking me to feel if my muscles are contracting enough. And she was like, yeah, they are. And I was like, damn, my baby just has a big ass head then. And then she like felt where the baby's head was, and the baby was actually just pushing against my bones in my pubic area. There's like some little bones you have along the sides, like the walls of your vajayjay, and that's what she was just stuck on. But she wasn't stuck. It's just a tight fit, you know. Anyways, helping me, we're pushing, we're doing different things, and I'm telling you, the epidural was some bullshit because I was feeling my contractions at this point, and I was moving, and like, I was up and going, like, I was good. And my fucking camera just stopped recording out of nowhere for nothing. But anyways, so I was up and going, and we're pushing this baby, we're doing it, and she's like, are you thirsty? And I was like, you don't even know what they've been doing to me, bitch. Like, they've been torturing me. And she was like, oh no, this is ridiculous. How do they expect you to push a baby if you have no energy, you have no food in you? Nothing. She was like, she was so mad. She told the nurse, go get her juice, like a fucking like a protein energy shake type of thing. But it was a juice. That shit tasted like fucking ass, but I fucking chugged it so fast. Like, I was thirsty. I had 2 of them. And that gave me literally life. It gave me life so that I can give life. Anyways, yeah. So that shit helped me a lot. And it was like magic because after that, I was able to push the baby out. But I'm getting too ahead of myself. So after that, I was able to like push normal, and then they were like, okay, there she is, she's coming, you just have to hold your push. And so I did. And then like the doctor, the bitch ass doctor who's being a little puto, he came and he was like, so, you know, like, what's going on? Like, I said 1 hour, and I was like, fuck what you said, because she's helping me. And they were arguing again, and she told him, like, you see, and I delivered my baby, and I didn't need a medical intervention. And I didn't need an episiotomy, forceps, vacuum, none of that. I didn't need any of that. I was able to do it on my own. Well, not on my own, thanks to the midwife. She helped me a lot. And I was able to, you know, deliver the baby without a medical intervention. And I didn't like tear to my asshole, but like I did tear a little bit. Like I got like 1 stitch, literally one, just one. But I did hemorrhage though. When I delivered the placenta, I did hemorrhage. That was really scary. Like I literally felt myself like draining. Like my whole, like, I lost so much blood. I didn't need a blood transfusion though, which was good. But yeah, I did it. And since I did have a fever, like by the end of, like when I finished pushing, but like, of course I'm gonna have a fever. 1,000 people sticking their fucking hands in me, like, that can't be clean. Second, like, I was deprived from fucking food and water for 3 days. And I was pushing for so long and so hard. So, oh my god, I was like so swollen that they couldn't even take my rings off my fingers. Like, my shoes didn't fit me when I left the hospital. That's how swollen I was from all those fucking fluids they were pumping in me. But anyways, like, I got a fever, right? So at the end, so they had to take April, my daughter, to the NICU and give her antibiotics just in case. And that was a whole other thing. She was in the NICU for just like a day and a half. But like, that was a whole other thing, honestly. Yeah. Oh, and I got to breastfeed her. I swear, it's like when you see your baby for the first time, you just fall in love. Like, I remember like when I had her, like, and they put her on me, I was just like, I don't know what to do. And then I saw her little face and her little button nose, and I was like, oh, my baby. And like, I just fell in love with her. And then like, you want to breastfeed her? And I was like, oh, I can breastfeed her now? I'm like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but okay. And I just like put her on. She latched on right away. But I'm telling you, that's another story. My breastfeeding story is another story. I did breastfeed for a long time. My daughter is 2 and a couple months, almost 2.5, and we still breastfeed sometimes. It's really, really rare, but yeah, breastfeeding was hard. That's a whole other story though that I'm willing to do if you guys want to hear it. But yeah, that's my labor and delivery story. It really was painful. It really fucking sucked. And yeah, I hope that if I have another baby, it doesn't go anywhere near like this. And if I do have another baby, best believe I'm giving birth at home. I am not gonna fucking put myself through that situation again. Like, that was fucking... No, they fucking starved me. And you know how they say, oh, it's because you can shit yourself while you're pushing. Yeah, you can, and you do shit yourself, okay? And you know what? It's fine. They even said, oh, it's not a big deal. Like it's fine. I was like, I have to poop. And like, no, it's the baby's head. And I was like, no, I have to poop. I'm gonna poop myself if you don't let me get up and go to the bathroom. And they're like, but you have that epidural. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck, bitch. I can get up. And I got up, and they're like, no. They thought I was gonna fall. But yeah, like, you poop yourself sometimes. I guess not everybody, but nothing bad happens, like, because they have to clean you, you know? And yeah, it was good, like, yeah, TMI. But postpartum is another thing too, if you guys want to hear about my postpartum. What I did to take care of myself. I didn't really do much, but my postpartum was really difficult because I did get postpartum depression. I got anxiety too. I developed anxiety. I didn't even know what the fuck that was until now. And it's something I'm still struggling with to this day. So yeah, if you guys want to hear about that, let me know and I'll be more than happy to make a video on it. And subscribe and follow me on Instagram, guys. Follow me. Yeah. Well, thank you for sticking through the whole thing if you did. And if you didn't, thank you for watching anyways. And have a good day, guys. Bye.